California is going broke, and Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger is making no bones about it.
This is the harsh reality and the crisis that we face. Sacramento is not Washington. We cannot print our own money or more money. We have to only spend what we have. As governor, I have the responsibility, of course, to level with the people on the tough choices that we face in the future.
So what is going to happen to the Golden State, and what about the other states? Are we all next? Join us live with Steve Moore, senior economic writer for the Wall Street Journal. Steve, this is unbelievably bleak for California. Thousands of state employees must be laid off, according to the governor. Billions of dollars must be slashed, and their deficit tops $15 billion. And we just heard the governor say that he can't just print the money. He can't go out, and he can't go to China. So what's going to happen in California?
Yeah. You know, Greta, this is such a tragic story because California may be the first state in the United States history to declare bankruptcy. That's how bad its finances are right now. It's the Chrysler Motor Company of states right now. And, you know, it's all brought upon itself because of one bad policy after another out of Sacramento. This is the state, by the way, that can't pay its bills, even though it has the highest taxes in the land. It has the most oppressive regulatory regime. It has the laxest welfare rules, so it's the only state that hasn't put work for welfare requirements. One thing after another has really ruined this wonderful state, and I don't see a way out. You know, next week, Greta, on Tuesday, the voters of California will vote on 5 initiatives to try to deal with this budget crisis, and I believe that every one of them is going to fail. There is a revolt going on in California. The voters are extraordinarily upset about the way that people in Sacramento have mismanaged this state.
You know, looking at the governor's press release in response to those initiatives that they're voting on next week, he says that if the initiatives fail, there are a number of things that are going to happen in the state, including the release of thousands of undocumented immigrant inmates. I mean, it's like, the problems that he lists this, I suppose the least of all, which is so serious, it says they're going to delay all repairs to the state capitol for a year. I guess they can live with, you know, some faulty repairs. But it's extraordinary. They're going to have to sell San Quentin. I mean, they've got all, this is really catastrophic for this state. You know, it's going to fall into the ocean.
It really is. And, you know, when Arnold Schwarzenegger said we can't print money, I tell you this, Greta, if they could print money, they would, because it may be the only way out of this. And I want to go back to the point I just made. Anybody who thinks high taxes is the solution to a state's problems should look at California. It just earlier this year, back in February, the state passed the biggest tax increase in the state's history when they had a $40 billion deficit. Now they've got another $20 billion deficit 3 months later. They've tried to tax their way out of this crisis. They have the highest income tax rates in the country, the highest sales tax in the country, and they can't balance their budget because the spending has been completely out of control.
All right, they're going to get about $15 billion, I think, in stimulus, but they can't use that to pay down their debt or to pay for these employees, right? So it's not like it can be solved that way.
Well, that's the other problem, is that the employee unions are so powerful in California that they're suing against the governor, who wants to use some of that money to pay down this deficit. And they're saying, no, you have to use the money to pay public employee unions. The public employee unions run the state of California, and they have run it into a ditch.
And we got to go, but my guess is it's California tonight on the brink, and to maybe somebody else's state tomorrow. We'll be following this very closely. Steve, thank you.
Yeah, there's no way they can succeed with those high taxes. And, you know, I think they need a flat tax. They need to have spending freeze. And they need to do something about reining in these employees.
It's bleaker for me. I think they're cooked. But anyway, up next, Cindy McCain goes on the record. Mrs. McCain says there is something she needs to do. She goes on the record about that, plus the way her daughter Megan is shaking up the GOP and Senator John McCain's Twitter habit.